Hi, this is Kiran. Welcome to the Parent Culture and Experiential Parenting. Today we're going to talk about how to not raise picky eaters. This is inspired by a number of messages we've got from different mums on the eating habits of their kids. One mum says her kid only eats junk, chips, chocolates, anything that is sort of not food he wants to eat. Another mother says my kids only want to order in. They don't like home cooked food. The third mother is saying that she has 3 kids and all 3 have different tastes. One has gone completely vegetarian, the other wants to only eat chicken, and a third one only likes fish. And then she says, there's of course my husband. I am preparing 4 or 5 different types of meals. And she said, it's so exhausting. Why are my kids so picky? She says, I'm so tired of making all these meals all the time. Can the parent culture please share some tips on how to not raise picky kids? That's what we're going to focus on today. I wanted to share an experience that we had. This was many years ago, nearly a decade before my kids were born. I think we were traveling in the US and we happened to meet up with a friend of my husband's and we went to their house for lunch. And they had twins, lo and behold. And I was quite amazed because the twins were 1 year old and they were happily sitting on their high chairs and feeding themselves. Coming from a culture where you see mums even feeding 10-year-olds, you're like, or the maids, or the nannies, just feeding 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds and running after them with food. And you're like, That was really surprising. And that was somewhere tucked in my brain. So when we had children, we were very keen that we start them early. And so precisely that's what we did. As soon as they could, hold a spoon, we encouraged them to eat by themselves. It was a very messy process for sure. There would be food all over. It would be all sticky on their faces, their clothes, everything. But we put up with it. And, amazingly, they became independent eaters quite early. So what I would recommend is that encourage your child as soon as possible, as soon as they are able to hold a spoon. They say from 9 months onward, a child should be able to feed her or himself. But, we as parents don't want to let go. We're like, kaise khayega, theek se nahi khayega, acha nahi khayega. So that's one thing. So just be chill. Encourage them to eat by themselves. If they're messy, that's perfectly fine. Let them be messy. Don't stress about it. It can always be clean. The clothes can always go into the laundry, with washing machines. We seriously don't have to worry about it. So my one suggestion would be, mums, let your kids feed themselves as early as possible and let them be messy. One other really important thing that I want to share is that when our babies were born, the attending pediatrician, he said that feed them from the family pot. Whatever you make at home, don't make different foods for them. If you start that process that, oh, my kids are going to eat different and I'm going to eat different, that will become a lifelong habit and they will be picky. So my suggestion would be feed them from the family pot. Whatever you're cooking is what your child should eat at home. And that will be one of the biggest deterrents to being a picky eater. The other thing that I did was that once my kids could understand and they were feeding themselves and they were eating by themselves, I told my husband that whatever is cooked on the table, you have to eat it. You cannot say, I don't eat this vegetable, I don't like this, because if you do that, the kids are going to emulate it. You won't believe, till our kids were there were only 4 vegetables we ate all year round because those were the only veggies my husband would eat, which was like bhindi, beans, patta gobi and phool gobi. That is it. I ate it for the longest time. And I come from a farming family. I mean, my dad was not a farmer, but my grandparents were farmers, and when we'd go for summer vacations, our house would be, अच्छा चलो खेतों में घूम के आते हैं, वहाँ से हम fresh शलगम, fresh मूली, fresh गाजर ऐसे उठाते थे, नहर में धोते थे, and we would be chomping away. And our dinner table discussion would be, अच्छा आज क्या पकाना है? This would happen at lunch. So if someone would be like, अच्छा पालक बड़ा अच्छा हो रहा है, या आज सरसों का साग खाने का मन हो रहा है. My aunts would go to the khet on those walks where we were munching away on all these turnips and carrots, etc. And they would pluck the freshest of vegetables which we would get for our dinner or our lunch or our breakfast. And so, we ate everything and we loved the freshness, the crunchiness of the vegetables. And that's how I remembered. But for the longest time, We just ate 4 vegetables. Like I said, keep introducing your kids to new food. I started with the process of saying that let their palate at least accept the Indian food. So we made dal, chawal, roti, sabzi, whatever non-veg which is made was very, very Indian. As their palate matured, I sort of started introducing them to pastas and pizzas, etc. We have pizza night, we have pastas, we make lasagna at home. So we do those nights, but they came much later. Once they adapted to the main food that we eat, we then sort of migrated to experimenting with other food. And also the fact now they can't say that I don't want to eat this, I don't want to eat this. They've always seen us eat together, eat the same meals. Nobody's needs are pandered to. So we have a very, very simple menu for all our meals. Especially for mums whose kids are so picky, just say this is the food that's on our dining table. You have to eat it. If you're not going to eat it, sorry, no food. The fact is, when they're hungry, they will ask you for food. Their stomach will talk to them. My kids are like, Mama, pet mein choohe kood rahe hain. Please, what are we going to eat? Let's eat dinner. Let's eat lunch. So half the time it's they who are pushing us saying, Mama, it's dinner time. Mama, it's lunch time. And initially we were the ones pushing them. And so the other thing is, of course, schedules. There's no getting away from that. Have an eating schedule. Breakfast on time, lunch on time, dinner on time. Try and ensure that you meet that deadline. Try and eat with your child. It shouldn't be that you tell your children that you eat and I'm not going to eat, or we are going to eat later. Don't do that. As much as possible, have your breakfast, lunch and dinner with your kid. Having a schedule has really worked for us. Now they are the ones who are pushing us that, Mama, it's dinner time, let's eat. I'm so hungry, choohe kood rahe mere peet mein. Because we have the schedule and the stomach starts telling them that it's dinner time, it's lunch time, or it's breakfast time. And if they don't eat, or they've gone to a party, they're full, or they've eaten junk, if they say, I don't want to eat, or even if you go out to a restaurant and they don't like the food, I don't panic. I'm like, or somebody's house, I'm like, they've had a good breakfast, they've had a good lunch. If they miss a meal in a day, or just nibble at what was offered on the table because it's too spicy or whatever, I'm perfectly fine with it. I don't get emotional about it. I don't get stressed about it. So don't get emotional and stressed about your kids' eating habits. If there's something on the table, like I said, and they don't like it, feed complete indifference. Do not pander to saying कि हो मेरा बच्चा भूखा रह जाएगा, हम सब खा रहे हैं, ये नहीं खा रहा, नहीं. जो बना है आप वो खाएं. अगर आपको वो नहीं खाना तो आप सबके साथ बैठें, सबको खाना खत्म करने दें, फिर आप इस टेबल से उठें. ये नहीं कि आपने खाना खत्म किया और आप उठ के चले गए. ये नहीं हो सकता. आपको नहीं खाना, आप मत खाइए. एंड बी लाइक हार्ड हार्टेड. आई नो दैट इट्स टफ फॉर इंडियन मम्स. मेरे बच्चे ने नहीं खाया, मैं कैसे खाऊंगी? नहीं. I'm joking. But seriously, that kind of melodrama happens in a lot of families. The other thing now that has happened is because we would decide, every night, what are we going to have for breakfast, what are we going to have lunch, what are we going to have for dinner. Now the girls set the menu. Involve your kids in sort of agreeing on the menu and what they want to eat. Our kids now tell us, Mama, we want to eat this the previous day so that we can be prepared and prepped for it. For us, Saturday is set as pancake day. Sunday is set as aloo puri day. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we will have omelette and toast. We will have poha, maybe uttapam. So, different things. But the kids know that they have to, or porridge. The kids know that they have to eat it. It's not about everything. It's specific. Like they'll say, Sunday, Mama, can we have this? Monday, Mama, can we have this? Can we have a pizza night? And you're like, okay, why not? Or, Mama, can we do pasta? So, Mama, can you do sausage rice tonight? Then, of course, what I do is I do sauteed vegetables with it, with a little bit of butter and garlic, just to ensure that the fibers also go in. So play around with the menu. We may venture out to eat a meal once a week, but majority of our meals are at home. There's another very critical thing that is that do not entertain your kids while they're eating. Do not let them watch TV. Do not let them play on an iPad or read a book. Make conversation with them or encourage them to make conversation with you or anybody else who's there in the family. Make it an engaging time. So complete no to mobile phones, iPads or television when your kid is eating by himself or even if you are feeding him or the house help is. Make food a very, very happy time, an enjoyable time. Let it not be a time where people are sort of going in different directions. Try and get everyone together from the very beginning. It starts as early as possible. So begin today. Thank you for watching The Parent Culture. Please do like, leave a comment if you want to continue writing into us or WhatsApping and telling us what you want to cover next. Your like and your comments go a long way in promoting us on YouTube and keeping us alive. So please continue to support us. Thank you so much. See you next week.